no childhood. I feel their pain. I feel their hurt. I can deal with it. Heal the world. We are the world. Will you be there? The lost children. These are the songs I've written because I hurt, you know? I hurt.
Okay. Tell you, I have a reaction every time I hear that. It is just sad. Let's bring back Meg Strickler, our criminal defense attorney. Meg, first off, you think we're going to hear that again in closing? You think the prosecution will bring that up?
I think they should. I mean, every time I hear it, and I've heard it several times now, you feel it in your heart. Ouch. I mean, it's such a complex case with respect to Michael Jackson. He was a complex individual. We all know he had a very unique childhood. We all know that he had substance abuse issues. But then you see him dancing just a couple of days before. So he's able to have that 135-pound emaciated body dance and function. So you got a lot of complexities here, but then when you hear that tape, you think, wait a minute, the guy sounds so on something, and then Dr. Murray says, you okay?
Yeah.
You don't need to ask that.
And when we heard that, there was an argument back and forth, like, who does this play better for? My opinion is, I think it plays better for the prosecution because they so aptly point out, what does Conrad Murray do to a man who clearly needs help? He orders more propofol. I thought that was big for the prosecutor. But there were others that argued that works well for the defense, that Michael Jackson was on something. He was going to do anything he had to get whatever he needed. Gene Casares is with us as well. Let's bring Gene in on the conversation, legal correspondent for In Session on our sister network, True TV. Gene, we're just listening again to that disturbing and sad voice of Michael Jackson. Do you think it'll be played again as we gear up for closing?
They sure can if they want to. We heard yesterday, and that's in a sidebar transcript, that the multimedia presentation the prosecution is intending to put on. They did that in the opening statements. And if you remember, when we heard part of that in the openings, there was the transcript on the multimedia screen to follow along because it's so difficult to understand.
All right. Gene, thanks again. Meg, we're going to continue to talk about this as we are now hours away from closing arguments. It's crunch time. It could decide the case, let's be honest here, and we'll be talking about it. Virginia.